Dawson Pendergrass. Red Lightning, if you will. You guys remember Red Lightning? The ball boy for Florida State? Like 10 years ago now? It was a while ago. Like running down the sideline, speed of light. He grew up to be Dawson Pendergrass. Feel old yet? Dawson Pendergrass. The man just waited for his moment. He's not always there when you call, but he's always on time. Dawson has been waiting for this moment for a few weeks now, and boy, did he take advantage of it against obviously a lackluster Oklahoma State defense, but a team that was desperate for a victory, that Cowboys unit, and Baylor just ran all over them. They as a team, they ran for 343 yards as opposed to Oklahoma State's 74. They outgained them by 270 yards on the ground, which makes it amazing it was even a 10-point game, to be totally honest with you. And it comes down to Dawson Pendergrass. 6 carries, 142 yards, and a touchdown. Let me repeat. 6 carries for 142 yards and a touchdown. 24 yards a carry. Is that good? It's not bad, right? To go 24 yards a carry for a whole game. I was stunned after the game to see that he only had 6 touches because every one of them was electric. We talked in the first segment about that Ollie Gordon fumble at the 1-yard line, right? So Baylor has to take over at the 1. You know, that's not a great place to be. You take a touchdown off the board, that's great, but you're in the shadow of your own goal line here. Well, first play, Dawson Pendergrass, 48 yards. Next play, Dawson Pendergrass, 39 yards, and then a touchdown. A 4-play drive, because there was an incompletion mixed in there, I lied. 4-play drive, 99 yards, a minute 36 off the clock, and 87 of them came from Dawson Pendergrass on that one drive. And then he has the incredible play to put the game on ice. Bears up 3. It's just under 5 minutes left, and you can't bring him down. He's like 9 yards in. He's got 4 guys around him, and suddenly 35 in green is running for the goal line. Dawson, what were you thinking going into that drive?
I just feel like it was just run through somebody's face. That was kind of the mentality we needed to go out there with.
Run through somebody's face. Well, you ran through like all 11 guys' faces there, Dawson. I mean, that was one of the best runs I've ever seen at a Baylor game. He's bottled up. There's no way. And Sidney Fugar, the transfer from South Carolina, should get an assist on that. I know you can't get an assist on a touchdown in football, but he keeps this thing moving. He almost like pulls Dawson out of it. And there he goes. Red Lightning, 55 yards, touchdown, game over. This is a guy who's been playing behind Bryson Washington. At times playing behind Richard Reese. He's played behind every running back on this roster at one time or another. And Bryson Washington is the guy. I mean, he is the feature back for this team, right? But I said a couple weeks ago, if you can get Bryson Washington and Dawson Pendergrass as your kind of thunder and lightning, your John Lovett, Treston Ebner, if you will, that's a good situation for Baylor to have. And most weeks it is going to be Bryson Washington. I love the way he runs the ball. He hits that hole right away. He hits it with all he's got. But what you needed yesterday or Saturday against Oklahoma State was you needed a guy who was a little bit more patient because the holes were developing. And Dawson Pendergrass is patient. You know, that's not a bad thing. That's a very good thing a lot of the time for a running back. And that's what you saw with Pendergrass, a little bit with Richard Reese as well. They were patient. They found the holes. They got there. In fact, I even saw a video from our guy, Travis Roeder, who does a bunch of film breakdown for Baylor football the next day. And I think it was that 48-yard run from the 1-yard line where a guy for Oklahoma State, an outside linebacker, just closed the wrong gap. He had a guy coming off the edge to close that gap, and he didn't trust his teammate to get there. So he went and closed that one. Teammate cannot come into the point of attack, and all of a sudden this hole is there for Dawson Pendergrass. It's not there as soon as the ball is snapped, but the hole is there. Hits it, 48 yards. The rest is history. It's the most rushing yards for a Baylor running back this season. It is the first running back not named Bryson Washington to go over 100 yards. And it's the most yards per carry that I've ever seen with someone with more than 5 carries. What's funny, if you look at the, you can do like the adjusted yards, and the quarterbacks will get negative yards against them for a sack. So if you look at the Baylor side, top rusher, 6 carries for 142 yards, 24 yards a carry. Oklahoma State, bottom rusher, Alan Bowman, 4 attempts, negative 38 yards, negative 9.5 a carry, because obviously he doesn't run. And every sack was like catastrophic. Every sack was a huge loss. And Baylor used that to their advantage very much in this game. But Dawson Pendergrass, it's just another story on this Baylor team of a guy who waits his turn a little bit. I was saying Dawson Pendergrass should have been the number 1 back coming into this season. We didn't know the health of Bryson Washington. We didn't know exactly what he was going to be at this level. We didn't see a lot of Richard Reese last year. What we did see of Dominic Richardson was not great. So I was like, why not Dawson Pendergrass? Why is this just not your guy? And now, 8 weeks into the season, I think you've found your complement in the backfield. Obviously, there's going to be situations for a little bit of Richard Reese, a little bit of Dominic Richardson, I guess, even. And Reese had a decent game in this one. Again, not a ton of usage, but 6 carries, 52 yards. Like, that's not bad, right? But if you're looking at what you had in, let's say, 2021 as a better example than 2019, which I used earlier, in 2021, you had Abram Smith through the tackles, physical runner, finishing runs, and then you had the speed of Treston Ebner to bust things out to the outside and get big explosive plays with his speed and awareness and patience. That's what you've got with this running back right now, this running back room right now. Keenan Hall's running back room. You've got your Thunder and Bryson Washington doing the Abram Smith role, and you've got your Lightning in Dawson Pendergrass doing the Treston Ebner role. That's the last time Baylor was really successful, 2021. And this is not the same team, obviously, and they're not going to reach the same heights. But that's the blueprint. And by the way, just by the way, everyone, both of those guys have multiple years of eligibility left. Pendergrass, true sophomore. Bryson Washington, redshirt freshman. And Sawyer Robertson, too, by the way, at quarterback with eligibility left. You're seeing the makings, the foundation of your offense for the next few years. Thank you for making it to the end of the video, and thank you for making the Locked On Podcast Network part of your daily routine. We have got you covered with the most Baylor Bears athletics coverage of any outlet that's not directly tied into Baylor University. So if you want more of that, be sure to like and subscribe. Ring that notification bell to get notified every time we're dropping a video here on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks, and sick 'em.